The fact that I have to sit here and do the job of the entire UK media on my shoulders is so outrageous. Like, is this the fucking best that we can do, really? This is David Lammy, okay?
I want to talk specifically about one strike on the first day of the war, strike on a school. Have the UK assessed what happened on that school in Minab on Saturday?
I'm not aware of any assessment, and that must be right for the US to comment.
The United States rely on parts manufactured in the UK, in Scotland, to make the very same Tomahawk cruise missiles that were used on that school. So for David Lammy, as Deputy Prime Minister, to pretend like he can't comment when the bloody supply chain of the same missiles of that strike runs through the United Kingdom is utterly absurd. Tomahawks are also usually launched by ships. So there's a very good chance that any American ships in the region were making use and are making use of British military bases like those in the Chagos Islands or in Cyprus. Make no mistake, the UK is allowing the bombers, the physical, literal, actual, specific United States Air Force bombers to land in Britain, refuel, rearm, and take off from Britain and participate in bombing Iran. So you are legally, morally, logically involved. I mean, you're in the bloody cabinet. You can't just say, oh, it's for them to comment. Yeah, maybe it's for them to comment primarily, but you're fucking involved, mate. I mean, what is this nonsense? If I ever get charged with a crime, I'm just going to try it on. Like, well, it's not for me to comment. Just the nerve of it, really, the nerve. Like, this is not a burglary. This is a mass murder of 100 girls in a school that we're talking about. I mean, let's just look at the progression of the lies. So first of all, Starmer claims
the United Kingdom played no role in these strikes.
And then a few minutes later in the same speech, he goes,
our forces are active and British planes are in the sky today.
Which one is it? If you have planes in the air during the opening phase of a war, I'm pretty sure that's not defensive. And then a day later, he goes,
the United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose. We have taken the decision to accept this request.
It's only going to be defensive. And then you've got B-52 bombers and B-1 bombers rearming, refueling, taking off from RAF Fairford in Gloucestershire. And you can see the specific munitions being loaded into these planes. You've got 2,000-pound GBU-31s, 500-pound GBU-38s, stealth cruise missiles like the AGM-158. None of these munitions have anything to do with the word defensive, and certainly nothing to do with shooting down quote-unquote incoming drones, which again, we attacked Iran. Iran are defending themselves, yes, with drones. So you can't claim shooting down the drones is legal or defensive. As Matt Kennard was saying, and I agree 100% with this analysis, the United States could easily do maintenance on their aircraft, refueling, rearming, in secret, right? Or in an aircraft hangar. The fact they chose to do all of this in broad daylight, on the tarmac, in full view of the British media, was to humiliate Keir Starmer and make a point. The gaslighting, I find, is almost worse than the actual crime. Obviously, I'm speaking figuratively. It's not literally worse, but you get what I mean? It's so insulting. And just this word salad, like, oh yeah, well, we're supporting our allies and the region and what the fuck are you talking about? Supporting what with what for what who where? What allies? The United States is from the other side of the planet, first of all. They got no business. Never mind the UK having no business in the bloody region. How can you defend yourself thousands of kilometers away on foreign soil? You're not really defending yourself, are you? And then that's the part where they'll say, oh yeah, but our interests in the region. They speak like a fucking board member of the East India Company, right? Like, our interests in the region, oh boy. Look, let me put it this way. I think the Iranians have an interest, right, to stay alive that supersedes whatever material interests you and your allies have. Yes? Would you agree? Would you grace us with your approval that they are deserving of life and that this is greater than your material needs to suck oil out of the ground? I mean, the fact that I have to sit here and do the job of the entire UK media on my shoulders is so outrageous. Like, is this the fucking best that we can do, really?
When you say the UK resources are being sent to be used for defensive purposes, correct? Is that intercepting drones, shooting missiles out the sky or shooting drones? Or is that sending missiles to attack Iranian missile sites in Iran?
Well, it is absolutely the first.
This is like watching a sketch. I swear to God, like if I didn't know who these people were, I would think this is like a sketch or something. This has to be a play. These people cannot be real. Well, it's definitely the first. You know, like he looks like some fucking schoolboy who hasn't done his homework, and he's like trying to wiggle his way out by like doing a white lie or something. What the fuck? This is a cabinet minister. I am shooketh. She helped him out, like, inadvertently. I don't think she meant to, but she kind of gave him a way out. Like, you shouldn't tell him or give him the shooting down drones answer, which is not even defensive anyway, because, you know, you can't attack someone and then say you're defending yourself from them when you're the aggressor. But, you know, ask him, what does that mean? And let him answer and struggle.
It is important that I don't get drawn into operational detail, but there's a fundamental basis on which we do this, and that it is legal. And therefore, defensive action where we are being attacked, it is entirely legal to protect our people and protect our staff.
We are being attacked. Ron attacked us? And I didn't know? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? You know, when I think of 1953 and the coup we did in Iran, CIA and MI6, destroying an Iranian government to steal oil and then installing a dictator, you know, the Shah, and then training the secret police to torture, and then all of this crap that we did to Iran. I think to myself, like, we are lucky that they are not vindictive people. A more vindictive country would have taken revenge on us like tenfold already. People do not appreciate the patience and the virtue that country has in not being vindictive pieces of shit like our government. That's just like before the Islamic Republic and everything we did to them afterwards and are doing to them now. Really, a more vindictive country would actually be attacking us, and he just makes up an attack. And by the way, if you think he's talking about the RAF base in Accredited, no, because even the MOD says that was not Iran. It was Hezbollah actually that did it, right? And again, that's after Keir Starmer said that he's letting the US use the bases. I mean, point is, it wasn't Iran. Iran is not attacking us. We attacked them. The level of gaslighting is so infuriating. It's like you're trying to sit here and prove a negative. It's almost degrading in a way, right? I sometimes don't know if we should just ignore these people and shun them into oblivion, or, you know, if it makes you laugh, maybe it's good material. I don't know. I don't know what is going on.
And therefore,
this is not a serious country.
The UK could attack Iranian missile sites from our bases.
I'm not here to act as a lawyer, but
Unbelievable! Unbelievable. They lie like they breathe.
I think your viewers will understand that in response to being attacked, yes, we can take down sites that are anticipating attacking our people across the region.
So the UK would fire at an Iranian missile base on the suspicion that it was about to fire at us?
Well, you will recognise that we have satellite capability, we have intelligence.
Someone really needs to explain to them that Iran is very, very far away from the UK and doesn't want to fire at the UK. Don't give a shit. They just want to be left alone, right? They just make up scenarios in their heads. Well, not in their heads. If it were just in their heads, that would be half a problem. They're on the air making up scenarios like children. This is infantile, isn't it? This is not a serious country. They make shit up on the air. Oh, but if Iran were to attack us, then could we attack? You people are on fucking crack cocaine. Actually, you give people on crack a bad name, but like, you people are deranged. You are genuinely screwed up in the head. They just make up scenarios and treat it like it's a real national security threat that needs to be discussed with a cabinet minister in front of the public on television. What the fuck is going on? Okay, I think we're moving on to another clip. I've had it. And Labour, I should remind you, started the war in Iraq with the US, right? So you might be thinking, well, maybe the opposition have something more intelligent to add to the conversation. And you would be wrong.
As the leader of the opposition, people are clear as to what exactly you're calling for.
Right.
You are saying that you, if you were Prime Minister, would be authorising RAF jets to be attacking mainland Iran. Is that what you're saying?
We are not troops on the ground, but the missile launch sites, yes.
So those would be missile strikes on the Iranian mainland by RAF jets.
Launch
That's
sites,
what
yes.
you would now authorise.
I think that is the right thing to do. That is the right thing to do.
So I have a suggestion, and this is just me thinking out loud. But what if we got the parachute regiment to land in Iran with no boots, barefoot? Then we wouldn't really have boots on the ground, would we? You could completely... This is how deranged these people sound. Okay, here's a more rational human being.
I mean, there's absolutely no question in international law that the attack on Iran by Israel and the US was completely illegal. And there's no way around that. And every serious authority agrees. And Starmer, for the first time, and all credit to him, said, no, we're not joining in. We believe in international law. And I thought, at last, Starmer's standing up to America. It's not just, kowtowing again and again. But then we get all this muddle and fudge we've got now because Britain's so entangled with the US and so entangled with the idea that it makes us important to have what we call a special relationship, but not very many people in the US do. They call Israel their special relationship. And you're getting all this fudging now. I mean, if it was wrong to attack, then it's wrong to give America the authority to use our bases to continue to attack.
Yeah, I mean, brave for a bit is, a bit of a stretch. I think he was just lying. I told you he was lying. I wrote it somewhere on Twitter. I said, I bet you £1,000 that they're lying and that the UK is helping with this attack. They screwed up the quote-unquote messaging propaganda. That's all that happened. Like, make no mistake, this is the same government when they came to power, like sort of mass arresting people, including me, and helping the Israelis with the genocide, even to a greater level, right? Labour invaded Iraq. Again, as I told you at the beginning of the segment, it's not beneath them to behave like this. It's who they are. It's like the Democrats in the US, right? I mean, most of you are American, and we all know Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coin. Same shit, different toilet. It's the same thing in the UK. That's who they are, right? They're Blairites. I mean, and the media in England, and I'm sure if Glenn is watching this, if Glenn Greenwald is watching this, he's enjoying this very much because he likes to take jabs at the UK, and he's right to do it. He's right to do it. But Glenn will always post about how shitty the UK media are because they're all in bed with the establishment. He's 100% right. Like, it's especially true of the UK. I know it's common in most countries. You want access. You want to maintain access to officials. I'm not into that, but the norm supposedly is you got to cozy up to them. I'm not into that, but that's how they do it. So in England, it's especially the case, and seeing them participate in the propaganda campaign with Iraq, right? And the names they give up, like the BBC and the sexed up dossier, right? Like, what do you mean sexed up? It's just lies about WMDs. There's nothing nice about this. It's just propaganda. And and then they'll come back 20 years later and be like, oh yeah, once upon a time in Iraq, and they'll like show you how bad the war was, but when the war was actually happening, they didn't really find it to be an issue. And it's the same thing every time, right? Like, when it's actually necessary, when it's time for them to do their jobs, they just won't. My point with that is of course they're going to fail to hold the this government accountable. I mean, they didn't do anything during Iraq, and they didn't do anything during the genocide. So that's why we have people like Tony Blair coming back. It's just disgusting. And you should see the propaganda. This is from the MOD. Okay, this is from John Healey. Okay, so apparently he's the defense secretary, right? Like, I say apparently because in England, you have to understand the way politics works is that they change jobs like they change socks. One day you could be the health secretary, tomorrow you're the foreign secretary. You're neither a doctor and you have no diplomatic background, but hey, you know, your friends said you can have the job. I mean, it's the most corrupt shit you've ever heard of. And so now he's apparently the defense secretary, and who knows, maybe tomorrow it'll be David Lammy, who knows. But he went to Cyprus yesterday, the day before, and made this video to show you how defensive it is.
His priority is always protecting British people, British interests, British allies. And that's why we've been flying defensive missions since day one on Saturday. It's why we have to change what we do as circumstances and threats change, and we see what the Iranians are hitting back with. So overnight I'm putting in anti-drone helicopters, 2 Wildcats. We are putting new extra fast jets into the region. We'll have a Type 45 destroyer in the area, and we've got top experts today.
I mean, he sounds like he's stocking a supermarket shelf. He really, it's like that boring. Extra fast jets. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're extra fast, man. Are they going to be extra crispy by the time Iran's done with them? God, what a joke.
Arriving in this island on Cyprus to help coordinate the air defences, not just what the UK is doing, but alongside the US and other allies that are putting in their ships and their systems now. But above all, this is a chance just to meet the extraordinary British Forces personnel on the base today and say a big thank you. A thank you on behalf of the proud British people and the British government for what they're doing, and for the islanders of Cyprus.
The islanders. Why don't you just call them the others, you know, like on Lost? The islanders. Oh man. I mean, like, what does that even mean? Like, England is also an island. Are we the islanders? But seriously, like, they use all of these big words and you don't know what they're actually trying to say. It's like listening to an AI hallucinate. What are you defending? Can you not speak fucking clearly? This is the thing, is that you like they wanna do things that are really bold, like stealing and killing, and then they wanna like pussyfoot around what they're doing. You can't have it both ways. If you want to be a murderer and a thug, then you have to talk like one. Okay? You have to be very clear with what you're trying to do, right? Because no one respects this. You just look like a joke. I think the Iranians are watching this and like quivering in their boots. Even Donald Trump, and this is really going to make you laugh. Even after Keir Starmer sent his cabinet to do all this shit, this video, like John Healey in Cyprus and Lammy to go on TV, and, you know, he said, okay, fine, I'll let the Americans use the base. Even after all of this, okay, do you know what Trump says about Keir Starmer? I saw this today, a few hours ago, and I just died laughing. So Trump accuses Starmer of seeking to join wars after we've already won. Look, man, if you act like a gimp, you will get treated like a gimp. It's so funny, like watching him bend over backwards. And I know Glenn is laughing right now. It's so funny watching him bend over backwards to please the United States. And then they still insult him, and publicly too. Like this démarche, this dress down is so humiliating, you know? At this point, like I would, even after all of this, I would tell Keir Starmer, like, dude, just pull the plug. Like, at this point, you have nothing to lose. You have lost all shame, and you're screwed and fried at this point. So at least just pull the plug. Like, you have one shred of dignity at least, you know? Like, this is so humiliating. And Starmer deserves nothing less, by the way, right? He deserves nothing less. Look at Trump saying, asked about UK bases. We don't need them. It's actually a lie. It's a lie, which is what makes this even funnier, right? Is that like he's actually still using them and still insulting Starmer because he knows he's not going to do anything. The US have many bases in the UK, and they have nuclear weapons stored in them too. They use them for logistics. So this is Richard Shirreff, who's the former Deputy Supreme Allied Commander in NATO.
Keir Starmer kept talking about the special relationship in action, and I was wondering if you thought whether the UK is doing enough.
Well, let's just squash any idea of a special relationship. It does not exist. It is a complete fantasy. America does what America wants to do, and Britain's got to look after its interests. And any relationship with America has got to be based on self-interest. So that's the first point. I think the second point I'd make is that Britain shooting down drones, Britain engaged in offensive or defensive operations is invidious, frankly. The fact is that if Britain is involved, our hand is in the bangle. And the so what out of that is that we should not in any way, shape or form be involved with the Americans closely, because they are being led by a couple of gung-ho nutters like Trump and Hegseth, without a proper strategy, without serious thought about what the end state for this war is.
Gung-ho nutters, that was so funny, honestly. He's absolutely correct. And this is something that I've impressed upon you many times when I talked about the extradition treaty as one example, right? Like how the United States always wants the UK to extradite people to the US to face XYZ charges, like with Julian Assange, right? But the US will never extradite someone to the UK or anywhere else for that matter. Like even that CIA agent that ran over Harry Dunn, Anne Sekulis was her name, and ironically, she killed Harry Dunn outside a Royal Air Force base in England, of all places. So she drove on the wrong side of the road like an absolute moron, and killed him and just fled. And US tried to buy the parents off and refused to extradite her. It's just one example. There are many others. And that's one aspect of how there is no special relationship. I mean, look, if you actually had one that you could sell to me and convince me, I mean, I still wouldn't be convinced, but what does the UK get out of all of this? Do we have bases in the US? No, we don't. You know, if you ask someone like Starmer, what does the UK get in return? The only thing that they will tell you is that, it's intelligence sharing. And you know, there's like defense cooperation, which basically means, American companies get to work on things with UK companies and both of them make money. It doesn't mean anything for you or me. And I think both of those points are ridiculous because the UK is the best in intelligence. If you go and look at, you know, this is something that a lot of people overlook, but the Snowden documents, half of them involve or implicate GCHQ, right? We call them NSA documents, but I would guarantee you that the British intelligence had a role in making sure the media don't call them GCHQ documents and stick to NSA because they never want to take credit. They like to stay in the shadows and be cunning and all this crap. So my point is that you're coming to me and telling me we have to give the Americans everything they want because we share intelligence. We don't need to share intelligence. You know, we have the best signals intelligence with GCHQ. The UK does not need anyone for intelligence if that's the argument. It's the other way around, if anything. The NSA are very good. Sure, so is GCHQ. So again, the argument makes no sense. And intelligence for what? Is there a war that I'm not aware of that we absolutely need to, you know, work on with the Americans? There's no threat. No one is attacking us. There is no need for any of this. Half of this is wasteful spending, if not more. So I don't understand the argument. And defense cooperation, again, means literally nothing. For what? Killing children in Gaza? For killing people in Iran? Then, you know, to hell with the defense cooperation. It's not defense, is it? It's more like offensive cooperation. That's what it is. All of this coverage in the media is deranged, isn't it? And now we're sending apparently a Royal Navy destroyer. I have bad news. We don't really have a Navy. This is not, you know, the heyday of Queen Victoria or, you know, the East India Trading Company. There is no Navy. What Navy? Iran is laughing at this. I mean, you know, even the Americans who have the best Navy, or used to, are being chased away out of the Red Sea by Yemen and Iran. So, you know, who are you scaring with this? I just don't understand this nonsense. And you said yourself from the MOD that Iran didn't fire the drone at RAF Accredited, even though they would have been justified to do so under international law. So who are you trying to scare? Hezbollah? You're going to terrify them to death with a destroyer? What is going on? What is this nonsense? The thing is that none of these people care about tactics or strategy or you know, victory or objectives. It's about money, right? Every single pencil, every paperclip, every pair of shoes and socks and bunk that gets filled, someone is making money off of this. Right? Don't think it's just in the US. Again, a lot of these companies in the UK and the US have defense cooperation, right? So they're all making money out of this. They're not interested in winning. As a matter of fact, the longer the war goes on, the more money they make. So, you know, this is the difference between a country that's defending itself and has a, you know, national defense program that is homegrown, homemade, and low cost and effective and efficient and objective driven and goal oriented versus capitalist, you know, psychotic imperialist monopoly companies that just have no other interest except maximum profits, right? They do not think as countries or nations or states because they are not state actors. They control states, but they don't have national objectives except, you know, plundering. So, you know, it's all pathetic, really.
We also saw Iran, probably what we assess to be a drone launched from Lebanon by an Iranian-aligned Shia militia group at Cyprus. And so on Sunday and Monday we assessed our options and looked at what those risks were in response to that much broader action and reckless action by Iran.
Wasn't that a bit late?
No, I completely disagree. I say the war started on the Saturday. We saw the responses over the weekend. We were well set with our posture that had been built up over several weeks.
You know, if you think this is going to drive recruitment, I have bad news for you. The Cypriots are rightfully getting angry because by allowing the United States to use our infrastructure in the UK and in Cyprus, we've put them at risk, right? They're not stupid. They understand very well that we attack Iran and its allies will respond. I mean, again, this logic that we can help the United States, but Hezbollah cannot help Iran. Russia cannot help Iran. I thought half your argument is that we are in an alliance helping our partners. Guess what? Other people have partners too. The enemy, so-called enemy, quote unquote, has partners. Did you not calculate or contend with that fact? Just to drive this point home, I'll show you exactly what the Americans are doing at RAF Accredited in Cyprus. It's not just, oh, they land planes there. No. This has been a facility that's been run since the Cold War from our friends at Declassified. We have a National Security Agency presence, that's the NSA. So again, they do signals intelligence, phone calls, everything from AM to 40, 50 gigahertz and beyond. These are spy stations. Some of the most important spy infrastructure that the West has, period. But also the fact that we have hundreds of American troops based on Royal Air Force and RAF bases in Cyprus, and also they are using the airstrip to, you know, support their war effort against Iran. So it's all of these things. These are really important nodes in the US empire. It's not just some, you know, something to be taken lightly. Okay, that's the point. I'll just play you this clip from the Cypriot foreign minister.
In the longer term, then, as a matter of principle almost, would you rather not have that base on Cyprus?
I don't think anyone anywhere in the world would be in any position of accepting the presence of bases on the island without having given a clear consent, given the current or the way things have moved forward. It's all about making sure that at the moment there is the necessary coordination and cooperation that is effective and efficient. As to the future of the bases in Cyprus, this is something that has been on the agenda for a long time from both sides, but I believe this is a conversation that one needs to have after we have a careful reflection as to what has transpired, especially in recent days and hours.
I mean, the best thing, honestly, for us would be if they kick us out. Maybe that's what it's going to take. I don't know. And of course, in the UK itself, we have a multitude of US intelligence sites all across the country, right? And remember that at Newquay, for example, they used to store nuclear weapons there, if I'm not mistaken. Now they just moved them somewhere else, but they still have them. And I saw protests happening outside some of these bases in the last couple of days. Outside the US Embassy in London, I saw a video of a guy just like walking past and yelling, "Bastards!" like over. Ideally, you would want a sustained encampment or a permanent protest. The way in Niger, they had that outside the French bases. I covered that with you guys. And they kicked them out in the end. I mean, it was due to a multitude of reasons, but it was definitely not ideal for the French to have thousands of Nigerians outside the base, outside the front gate, every bloody day. Just, you know, they got the point and they had to pack up and leave, right? So I really genuinely think that it's immoral for these bases to be in England. They are illegal under international law in terms of what they're doing, right? It's not, us hosting them is not illegal, but what they are doing is illegal in Iran. And if honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they also participated in the Gaza genocide, right? There's also talk that Epstein was landing his jet at RAF bases. I don't know if those were also joint US bases, but that sentence alone is unbelievable. And they're putting us at risk. I mean, there's just no matter how you look at this, under every single domain or lens, the bases shouldn't be there. There is no threat. That we don't need the Americans. I just don't understand what the reason for all of this is. There is no convincing argument. Even if you're a warmonger, even if you are like, these nut jobs that go like, oh, we have to increase defense spending, like as if the whole West isn't driven on blood and war. Again, they're a waste of money, and the United States doesn't even pay us for them, by the way, right? Like they cover their own costs allegedly, but we have the privilege of just giving them free land. So we are losing money actually by hosting these bases. Not to mention, we are participating in illegal war. So I mean, how many ways to Sunday do I have to explain this? It's wrong. In my opinion, this government incapable of listening to reason. This is the same prime minister who had this to say about Gaza.
A siege is appropriate. Cutting off power, cutting off water. Sakir?
Well, I think that Israel does have that right.
So this Labour Party, they've got all the traits of a war criminal like Tony Blair. They're all his disciples, but with none of the respect from the Americans or the basic decency of the White House to just keep them informed and filled in on things in advance. And since number 10 is also lying to us, well, some might say it's karma, wouldn't they? This government are incapable of listening to reason. They have committed genocide, they have blood on their hands, complete disregard for international law, for British law, and their own electorate. Keir Starmer, he has shown that he is spineless, like really spineless, to the point that Trump can insult him, and he's more than happy to allow US to keep using the bases, right? Like he won't even stand up for himself, never mind, any presumed values. So the conclusion is that in the end, someone has to take direct action to shut these bases down. And I think protesting, permanent encampments, maybe boycotts, there are methods. You can be creative. I'm not encouraging anything, but my geopolitical and journalistic assessment of the situation is that this government are incapable of listening to reason, and the only way to shut the American bases down is through direct action. Peaceful direct action, of course. So that's all I'll say on the matter.